Hello, everybody, and welcome to this informational webinar, whose aim is really to present the 5th edition of the Master Program ICT for Development and Social Good for the upcoming academic year 2022-2023. My name is Ron Salai, and I will be moderating this webinar, but also in the end of this packed agenda that we have, I will also present the fifth edition of the webinar. Given that we have numerous speakers and a bit packed of agenda, I think without losing more time, I will invite the first speaker for just welcoming remark, Miss Silvia Pochettino, who is the founder of the ONG 2.0, now rebranded and known as ImpactSkills, and Master Coordinator. Silvia, please, and thanks for joining.
Thank you, Ron. So welcome to everybody. This is the 5th edition of the Master ICT for Development and Social Good, and I'm really happy to be here today with you because this Master has proved to be a very positive and growing experience over the years. I think, in fact, this Master responds to some of the most pressing challenges in today's international cooperation. In fact, this is the first Master in Italy completely focused around the use of digital technologies in international cooperation. The program was born from a fruitful collaboration with University of Turin, represented today by Professor Dansero and Professor Vignante, and ImpactSkills, formerly NGO 2.0, a network of NGOs that work in the field of international cooperation and ICTs. But the program was born also thanks to the support of the Program Innovation for Development, Innovazione per lo Sviluppo, represented today by Fulvio Bersanetti, which I use this opportunity to thank him, and from the support of the Italian Agency of Development and Cooperation, which is the public agency for international cooperation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Italy. During the previous 4 editions, the Master Program has received over 700 applications from 34 countries across all continents of the world. And I think 80 students have successfully graduated from the program. So if you choose to participate of the master degrees, you can immerse yourself in a truly multicultural experience. So that being said, given this master have a packed agenda, I don't want to take more time. I wish everybody a fruitful webinar, and I give the floor to you, Ron.
Thank you a lot, Silvia, for your welcoming remarks, and also very grateful to all the supporters and donors of the Master Program and making this program happen, really. Before I pass it over to Fulvio for his remarks, I would like just to remind everybody that if you have any questions or any remarks, feel free to use the chat feature, so you can write it on chat, or you can raise your hand using the emoticon feature on the bar down, and then we can allow you to speak via microphone, and obviously we encourage that dialogue with you. And yeah, feel free to turn on the camera. That would be fun as well. That being said, I invite Fulvio for his remarks. Thanks for joining a lot, Fulvio. You are working as program officer, as far as I'm aware, the Innovazione per lo Sviluppo program, and of course, one of the donors of this program. Fulvio, thanks for joining.
Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. First of all, thank you, Ron, for the introduction. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to be involved in this so interesting course. My name is Fulvio, and I work as program officer at Compagnia di San Paolo Foundation, and more specifically in the Impact Innovation Department. As Silvia mentioned before, I have the pleasure to represent here the whole team of Innovation for Development project, Innovazione per lo Sviluppo, that is a program promoted by the two main Italian banking foundations, Compagnia di San Paolo and Fondazione Cariplo. As you probably know, I hope, Cariplo and Compagnia are two historical institutions in our country, and today, let me say, two of the largest philanthropic organizations in Europe. Just to give you an idea, they have granted about 7 billion euros in northern Italy in the last 30 years in the areas of research, education, welfare, health, and so on. The main goal of our project is to make possible the implementation of innovative projects in Africa related to 3 pillars: 1, circular economy; 2, food and sustainable agriculture; and 3, health and well-being. Thanks to a wide range of tools and instruments, an open innovation program, a capacity building cycle, and finally a series of public events and networking initiatives. So the key point is why have we decided to support the master program? Well, the answer is, let me say, so linear. We strongly believe in a cross-fertilization of competencies. In other words, in my opinion, ICT, technology, social innovation, climate change awareness could help us to solve some of the main challenges of modern world only if we combine theory and practice, only if we put together skills in many fields. I would like to share with you an idea from one of the top global experts in the field of AI, artificial intelligence. We need philosopher engineers and engineer philosophers. Finally, this kind of program is perfectly in line with our strategy. Consider that modern philanthropy is evolving, is complementing its traditional grant-making role, grant-making activity, money, in other words, with a new role as an impact generator, supporting, for example, economic growth and social development. So we need a common effort to build a better world. So first of all, enjoy, and good luck for your academic and your professional future. Thank you very much for your attention, and ciao.
Thank you a lot for your remark, Fulvio. It is no surprise that companies like Google and Facebook are actually hiring philosophers in their companies. And on the other hand, philosophers like Lacanian psychoanalysts and Foucaultian philosophers are writing about technology. So we have this kind of reverse roles between the two disciplines. That being said, this brings us to the academic side of the master. And I would like to invite Professor Egidio Dansero, who is full professor at the University of Turin and also the director of the master program, for his remark. Professor, over to you.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you to everybody. And I speak also in my role of Vice Rector for Sustainability and Development Cooperation, and also Director of the School of Campus Einaudi, where in part the master will be hosted. As University of Turin, we are really pleased to be able to offer to all the students the 5th edition of the master. This master degree is part of a wide range of training that the University of Turin offers on both the topics, one from one side on development studies, development cooperation, international studies, and we have many courses at the bachelor, the master, and other professionalizing master degrees. Also, we have a strong cooperation with other organizations like all the UN system that is based in Turin, and especially the training center of ILO. But this master for us is particularly interesting because is in the perspective of a more and more strong cooperation that we have with NGOs and other associations, especially in Turin and Piedmont region, but not only. And it's something that in some way characterizes the University of Turin, and so this possibility to work together in the preparation of this master is very important for us, because this master has been conceived from the beginning as a way of making available, giving some tools to NGOs, but also other international organizations. Some students, we will listen to Pietro later, but I don't know, other students like Tommaso, for instance, he is working now at FAO or in other organizations, public and private. And also for us, it's very important because we have also, as University of Turin, and particularly in the campus of humanities and the campus of political studies, we have also a strong specialization in the field of public and political communication sciences and the use of ICT in this area. So we put together with this master both specialists from the university side in development studies, cooperation, and communication, and experts that work all around the world in this field. So thank you again to all the partners, to NGO 2.0 and ImpactSkills, to all the donors and Compagnia di San Paolo, more of all. And okay, we look forward to opening this new edition of the master. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. And we still remain at the University of Turin, and I invite Professor Elisa Bignante, full professor at the University of Turin and member of the scientific committee of the master program, for her remark. Elisa, over to you.
Thank you, Ron. And hi to everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Egidio has already said a lot, so I will add just a couple of things. Indeed, new technologies have changed a lot the way in which aid workers and researchers carry out their work in the Global South. I carry out research in the Amazon forest and in West Africa mainly, and nowadays everyone has a mobile. And this has changed profoundly the way in which we can interact with people, even in very remote areas. And this is just the most common example that everyone always gives. Technology has opened up an incredible amount of new possibility and challenges for international aid. And this will grow in the future. So I really do believe that holding knowledge and gaining experience in this field is really important for what will come forward. And in my field, which is development geographies, for example, the options that have been opened by new technologies have really changed a lot the way in which we carry out research. I think of the use we now make, for example, in the Amazon forest of drones, the way in which we carry out research and we collect data. I think about digital storytelling or participatory video and participatory photography, and the option and opportunities they open up to engaging people and working with them. How the field of participation within development has been challenged by the use of new technologies, of how we can carry out research on how people use the social media and interact with them through the social media, people that are far and away from us, and how this changes. Also, ontologies and epistemologies about how we carry out our researches. And so I think that, and I'm concentrating more on research, but I know that in a little while you will talk a lot about how technologies have changed the practice of development, how we design a development project, how we carry out the development project, how we evaluate development project, how we think about the ethics in development aid. And I know that all these topics are addressed in the master, and I find that the master has found a nice balance between allowing you to have access to all the theoretical debates around the use of technologies in development, which I think are really important to become aid workers that are really aware of what is going on and of the challenges, and not only the strength of new technologies in development, but also the practical tools and the internship experiences and being exposed to case studies. I think it's a very nice balance that can really help creating professional skills that can be helpful in the future. But I think that we will hear more from Pietro Orfei about this, so I will give the floor to the others, thanking you very much for having me here today.
Thank you very much, Professor Lisa. I think you touched some of the key elements of our curriculum of the master program. But this brings us to the Pietro Orfei, who is not only a master's alumni from one of the previous editions, but Pietro is also working for European Union Agency for Asylum, and he's here basically to share a testimony about his experience at the master program. Pietro, over to you.
Thank you, Ron, and thank you, master team, for the invitation. Hi to everyone. My name is Pietro Orfei. As Ron mentioned, I work within the information analysis sector in the European Union Agency for Asylum. With my team, we are working in the optimization of our user experience within several information systems. And also currently we are delivering training on this information system to several experts in asylum. I would like to share with you my experience in the master. First of all, I didn't have a background in ICT. I had a background in international relations. And with this master, I have the possibility to add a full overview of the ICT environment in several fields. So for instance, ICT for agriculture, health, civic engagement, and Ron will explain later other modules. As well as I've been introduced to the design thinking and human-centered design that is very helpful for this kind of job. Because for instance, this master is focused not only on ICT, but most of all on social innovation, and it's something required in this type of job. In particular, I would like to stress the fact that you have the possibility to work together with several students with several backgrounds, as well as many lecturers with many experiences to share with you. So this is very important because I learn more from my lecturers and my student mates than the modules. And I would like also to stress the internship, because I've been a full model master student. I had the possibility to put in practice what I learned during the master program, and it was super helpful to fully understand the ICT environment and most of all the challenges, because ICT is no more the future, is the present. So this master is focused on the needs of now, of the present. So thank you a lot for your participation. Ron as my contact, so if you wanna share with me your question, I'm happy to answer to you. And thank you a lot for your participation. I hope you will join the master because it's very useful for all of us. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Pietro. And as always, it's great to have you again in the virtual rooms. That brings me to the last speaker of this webinar. Well, not very last, because the very last is me, but in terms of testimonies, and it's George Labrehe, who is joining us from New York. George is the lecturer at the master program since its first edition, lecturing on data visualization, data collection, and so on. George works for European Space Agency, former founder of Open Data Kosovo, great experience on software engineering. George, thank you for joining.
Thank you so much, Ron, for the lovely intro. I'm George. I get my hands involved a bit in many places related to data. Currently at the European Space Agency as a consultant. I was there formerly internally as a team member, and also now at a startup here in New York. And as Ron said, I had a background in software engineering before I hopped into the civil society and NGO sector. And then when I did that sector career change, I noticed, oh, there's so much data there, but lack of exposure on how to collect and process that data. And a lot of those problems are related not only to lack of exposure, but really lack of just training or budgetary constraints, or not even knowing how to budget the time and effort to process and collect and process data, let alone the money aspect of it. So Eliza mentioned the whole exercises of collecting data. The lectures that I give is how do we collect data of different types. So for instance, we look at how do we collect data that is geosensitive, like geographic data? How do we work with coordinates, shapes, and map files? And what are the tools available to us to process that information and display that information? Since I'm involved in the space sector as well, I like to incorporate, for instance, use of satellite imagery and satellite data. For instance, how do we use open and available data from the European agency to monitor, for instance, floods with satellite images and use that in our campaigns, right? So it is a common struggle when you work in civil society or in a nonprofit sector, or even in a sector that's not engineering or technically focused, that you do not have the knowledge of these tools. But more importantly, if you're given all of the money in the world, you wouldn't even know what type of effort or what type of time you need to budget for these types of data collection and presentation campaign. And what's cool about this masterclass is that we get you hands-on with some exercises and workshop to get a feel about the amount of effort and energy required, not only to collect data, but to clean it and present it. And there's a strong emphasis on presenting data, because what you want to do with data, you want to make it actionable and make it drive campaign. So it's not only using the tools to do the technical work, but how to present the information in a way that's consumable, absorbable, and most importantly, reusable to others. So that's a bit of an insight of my involvement in this lecture. Always have a great time prototyping and experimenting with new tools. And yeah, looking forward to be available for questions and answers.
Thank you, George, a lot. So George, apart from the module on data, he also leads the crash course on data in practice. And even those who never had coded before, during this crash course, they will come by the end of it with some skills of coding, particularly on data. Again, thanks to all the speakers. Very much appreciate your time and your contribution. I will now introduce myself as I'm going to basically present a bit more, or deep dive really, into a master program that is its objectives, what we do, curriculum, internships, exams, and basically everything you need to know for the master program. And again, if you have questions, please do type them on the chat or raise your hand. We can keep note, and then we can give you the mic by the end of my intervention, so we can also answer to your questions, to your doubts, or if you have any remark, we are more than glad to listen it. Master program. The master program officially started the first edition in 2018. However, before 2018, ONG 2.0, represented today by Silvia, myself, other colleagues here, Sara and Simona, we basically launched this pilot training on ICT for development. And the idea was just to see how much interest there is on this field, to learn and to practice, basically. And we noticed that there is a great interest. On these 2 editions of this long-term training course, we received over 450 applications basically for 25 seats and from all parts of the world. And out of these 2 editions, basically 53 participants have certified successfully. What is interesting is that this is long time before COVID. It's like 4 or 5 years. And it was precisely that time where we started actually to experiment cutting edge methods about online learning, web labs, and then developing new methodologies of working online, more collaboratively, more participatory, and reinforcing or encouraging this idea of peer-to-peer learning as well. And it was after these 2 pilot editions that we have taken the lesson, we have consolidated them, and together with the University of Turin, we have redesigned the curriculum of these 2 editions, which is put into more advanced program and what we call a master program on ICT for development and social good. Now, the master program basically was launched in 2018 by University of Turin and ONG 2.0 / ImpactSkills now. And it was again supported by Italian Agency for Cooperation Development, Cariplo Foundation, and so on. But what is interesting that over these 4 academic years, we over 700 students have submitted their applications in the master program, and this is, you know, for scholarships, directly for fee enrollments, but also for different models of the master, which I'm going to explain in a bit. 70 students from 15 countries of the world have graduated, and we are excluding here the ongoing academic year 2021-2022. And 98% of students have received job placement during their studies at the program in Italian and international organizations, social enterprises, and university-led research projects. And this is done thanks also to the large partnerships that we have with numerous entities, both in Italy and at the international level, through our internship program. But something that we worked a lot to make sure that this master is unique are basically 3 main features that we identified and that are present across curriculum of this master program. And these are new because the previous speakers mentioned them. I mean, Fluvio spoke about this idea of transdisciplinarity, cross-fertilization. Lisa and George and Professor and others spoke about practical skills and the importance of hands-on working and theoretical critical learning. So basically, what we firmly believe in the master program is that to address highly complex issues today, we need to dissolve the boundaries between conventional disciplines. This is why we think that the ICT should not be studied alone, but always situated into the complexity of the development. This means that, for example, ICT such as, you know, data visualization platforms or techniques or methods of human-centered design and co-design, or artificial intelligence techniques are always explored transdisciplinarily, analyzing their impact, for example, on health, on education, on human rights and democracy, on agriculture, and so on and so forth. The second unique feature of this program is practical skills. And we dedicate immense time on practical skills, both during the online lectures, but also during the residential crash courses. Although in the past 2 years, they haven't been residential because of COVID, so we moved everything online until we have more clarity into this kind of vaccine regime. We believe that, theory is important, but without practical skills, it remains a bit sterile. And that's why during, lectures online, we do lots of exercises, module assignments, homework exercises, and so on and so forth. And then during the crash courses, then we have full intensive week on practical work as well. On the other hand, we also believe that theoretical critical learning is key in analyzing, in critiquing, in adopting and appropriating any type of technological innovation or platform for development and social good. We think also, while theory without practical skills might remain sterile, we also believe that practical skills without theory can be deorienting. So we do this, particularly theoretical critical learning, through dialogical learning. So we don't, one of the perhaps methods that we encourage lecturers is the dialogical learning, where students are not looked only as banks where they deposit knowledge, but actually they engage into a critical dialogue by sharing experiences and only like that trying to understand the world where we live in. We have also very clear objectives on what actually students will gain during the master program. The first one is theoretical knowledge on the new emerging frameworks and methodologies on development of social innovation and projects. Then we also think that knowledge and skills in effective planning, development, implementation, and management of ICT for the initiatives in different disciplines, really, from data collection to agriculture, environment, and others. Another objective is the ability to use, adopt, and appropriate a number of tools, platforms, apps, and technologies for development. Pietro mentioned that his background was more into kind of social sciences, humanities, and he loved this technological part. And during the master program, he could actually gain this perspective and attitude towards technology that he could use later on at his professional work. Knowledge about the existing local, national, international initiatives in the field of ICT for development, as well as the ability to critically analyze their impact in the world. So we worked a lot with examples, case studies. We have across the lectures during the academic year, a lot of speakers, guest speakers, who actually are practitioners of the ICT 4D, and they come to share their failures, their successes, and their experiences as well. And the last is the capability of adopting existing examples, methodologies, and tools for local needs, and to prevent their potential risk and failures. So this is the idea that often we don't need, or we are not required to invent the wheel, okay, to reinvent the wheel. But there is plenty of technologies, there's plenty of methodologies outside that you can actually critically take them, adopt, analyze, and then reappropriate for the context where you are working. I would like also just to give you a brief summary of the master's journey. So where we start and how we end. So the master program is 9 + 3 months program. That means that there are 9 months of lectures, crash courses, and 3 months of internships. So it's a full year program. And all the lectures are held online, live, as we are doing now, through interactive web training. And then we record every lecture and made available immediately after in our e-learning platform of the university in the Moodle for the students to have a look if they couldn't come to the lecture. Almost after each module assignment, we basically we basically have module assignments. So after each module, we have a module assignments where these are not obligatory assignments. However, we highly encourage the students to implement or execute them, because this is the moment where you can actually put in practice some of the skills and knowledge you have gained during the module. We have e-learning space for collaboration, students lecture, student, and networking space. So I can show it later on. So it's a e-learning full educational space with all the features. And we also organize residential in-campus crash courses at the University of Turin, in Turin. And so these are 1 week crash courses. I will explain a bit more at length in a few moments. We expect students to do individual study as well. It is very important. So in the beginning of academic year, you receive the calendar, the syllabus, readings, and individual study is key, particularly if you are not familiar either with development dimension or technological dimension. So you can get a bit more updated and get a bit more into the language, into the vocabulary of these two disciplines. So basically, it's a moment where we expect that from students. Then we have internship, which is 3 months in distributed 450 hours distributed across 3 months. You have 8 exams, and then there is the final project and graduation by the end of the whole process. During the master program, you have all year tutoring and mentoring. So we provide that anytime you have a challenge, anytime you have a problem, anytime you can't follow, you did not understand anything, or you have some bottlenecks at the internship program or final project, we do sit with you and try to overcome these challenges together. And in the end, the students receive master diploma issued by the University of Turin. For those who are not familiar, so the master program provides 2 learning experiences. The full master model, which includes online lectures and crash courses, which are held in the campus of the University of Turin, obviously with the COVID permitting us to do the work. Then individual study, internship for 150 hours, all the exams, final project, and in the end, the students who complete the full master model receive master diploma. Whereas online only master model includes online lectures, individual study, and final projects. So students who enroll for the online only master model, they are not required to complete crash courses, internships, and also exams for the diploma. So that's why they don't receive diploma, but they receive certificate of attendance and personalized portfolio with the program of the master program. Good. So I'm gonna give you now an overview of the master's curriculum. Basically, master curriculum is structured into 5 units, and each unit has several modules, and then each module has several lectures. So we have 5 units. The first one is development and social innovation challenges. Second one is technology for development and human-centered design. The third one is data for social good. George module belongs to this unit, by the way. And the 4th unit is an ICT in development sector. And the 5th one is on future trends in ICT and development. So let me try to provide a little bit more details on this. I'm not gonna go into in depth on these units, also because they are very well and at length explained at our website, ICT for Social Good Master.eu, and I will show later on. So the first unit basically includes 3 modules, 22 hours of online lectures, and 70 hours of individual study are expected from students. So we start with so this is kind of introductory unit where we try to bring all the students on the same page. And we do this because from our experience, we have really diverse backgrounds, students from diverse backgrounds. We have those who are coming from, let's say, social sciences, humanistic sciences, who either study international cooperation, development, philosophy, communications, but they are not necessarily familiar with technology and ICT infrastructure. And we have those who are coming from technology industry, but who are not familiar with the development in international cooperation. And we do this basically through this unit. We try to bring them on the same page. And we do this through Module 1, Development Challenges International Cooperation, Module 2 on Project Management for Development Cooperation, together with Paula and Argia, where we work on the whole full cycle of project management. And then the last one is basically on Intro to ICT's infrastructure, where we give an overview of existing infrastructure and information communication technologies. On the second unit, this is a key unit which basically we try to situate technology and development together and their relationships, but also we immerse students into the experience of human-centered design. And what does that mean? What is the full process from ideation to sense-making to prototyping? So this is basically what the Unit 2 does. The third unit, it specifically focuses on data. So we have two modules, data for ICT for data collection, which George basically explained in a nutshell what the module provides. But we have also module 2, which focuses more specifically on mapping and emergencies. And we have here also a collaboration with Harvard Humanitarian Initiative, where they bring also their experts, apart from Stuart Campo, on working a bit more with geospatial mapping exercises as well. The fourth unit, ICT in development sectors, is the largest unit of this master program, and basically it tries to look ICT for the transdisciplinary, from health to civic engagement, agriculture, environment, and ICT for democracy, human rights, and activism. And lastly, we have dedicated the last module on future trends in ICT and development. And this means it's interesting because here we also look of actually what's happening, but for the moment in development world in terms of new technologies being applied, but also trying to forecast a bit the future about the new trends that are coming up. And here we speak about blockchain technology and social application, artificial intelligence, data protection, info security, and financial inclusion in developing countries. So these are the 5 units which basically form or establish the core of the curriculum of the master program. But apart from this, we have also 3 crash courses. The crash course 1, development in practice, which basically what it provides is in putting it, it's an opportunity for students to practice understanding and designing solutions to social issues, utilizing human-centered, systems-informed design and different types of methods, which can be very handy, particularly in the field work. Crash course 2, data in practice. This is hands-on technical experience in data processing using our programming language. So you will do a bit of coding and you will go a step-by-step process on this. And the last crash course is on cybersecurity in practice. We think that cybersecurity is an important discipline, important thing that is becoming relevant more and more. And we think that particularly, a development professional working sometimes in sensitive areas with sensitive data, they should have essential skills on not only understanding the potential risks, but also mitigating these risks as well. I shall mention that basically the crash courses, when held at the Turin, we also organize field visits to various universities, to various institutions or entities that share their experience as well. So crash courses starts on Monday morning and they conclude on Friday afternoon as well. And every crash course kind of concludes with a final project that each student should submit it. Lastly, exams. Don't be scared. So we have 8 exams. So after each unit, you will have to undergo an exam. And then after each crash course, you have to submit an exam in form of a project. Each exam have various credits, as you can see here. And then internship program has 18 credits, and the final project has the 4 credits as well. What I would like to mention is that all the exams are held online through our e-learning platform, so you don't need to come to Turin every time. And then we provide flexible exam calendar, which is sent to you in the beginning of academic year, so you can already book the dates immediately beforehand. Internship. I know this brings lots of questions often. So it consists of 450 hours, and basically these 450 hours should be accomplished between a period of minimum 3 months and maximum 6 months. So the process is very simple. We basically provide you a list of partnerships that we have with different entities. You can choose one, and then starting from February, March 2023, you can start the internship, and it should be completed no later than October 2023. And there are 2 options to do your internship. You can do it yourself. So if you are working in a social enterprise, in a company that aligns with master themes, or in a non-profit organization, then we help you start that process of accreditation with the University of Turin, and you can do the internship at your working place. Or if you don't have any organization or entity to host you, then we do it for you. So we provide you the list of partnerships we have, you choose 1 and 2, you go through an interviewing process, and then you eventually get selected by the hosting entity. Yes, so we do provide scholarships, thanks also to the donors. Tuition fee scholarships covering full and partial costs are available for both learning models, the full master model and the online-only master model. Whereas for those who would like to apply for fee enrollment, we provide one of the most really economically accessible master programs in Italy. So offering full master model at 3,500 euro and the online one for 1,500 euro as well. And this is the master's team. So master's teams has its own structure. We have a scientific committee of the master who kind of overviews the entire work, and whose part are different professors, experts on the field of ICT for D. Professor Egidio Dansero is the director of the master. Dottoressa Silvia Pochettino is coordinator of the master, and myself, I'm a tutor and programmatic coordinator of this master program. Yeah, so thank you a lot for your attention. This is in a brief, about 25 minutes, the master program. I'd be happy to take any of your questions, if there are any, or listen any comment or any remark. Yeah, I can see on the chat. a question by Thami Fundisi. Internships, who organizes them, university or student? So I believe, Thami, I answered your question. Not sure if I was clear. So maybe yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Thami. I hope I'm spelling correctly your name.
It's Tammy, actually.
Okay, Thami.
Thanks. Yeah, that.
Great.
Thank.
I'm monitoring also the chat.
I have a question.
Yes.
So for some of us that are based from miles and miles away, and I'm toying with the idea of doing the online, but with the crash courses. And so that would mean I'd have to budget for about a week's stay, or what's the schedule on those crash courses? Can I have them once off 1 month, 3 weeks, 21 days there? Or is it like maybe one after maybe a couple of months, there's another one? What type of idea should I sort of plan for if I do take them? And yeah, accommodation related things, what's the most reasonable price, the cheapest possible accommodation pricing around there? And lastly, probably daily spend for a typical master student.
Thank you, Tammy. So crash courses are 1 week long, and they usually happen in the same schedule. So in February, May, and first week of July. So we send this exact schedule in the beginning of the academic year, so you already can have, booking your whatever dates and so on and so forth. Obviously, we provide support also on visa, invitation letters, and so on and so forth. When it comes to accommodation, I honestly don't know prices, but I know in the past we have students who have traveled from different parts of the world, from Rwanda to Nigeria, South Africa, and so on and so forth. And we always did provide to them support in finding cheapest possible accommodation places. So in that sense, I think when the moment comes, we can also discuss it maybe separately. But yeah, there are plenty of opportunities to book, cheap places. Sometimes we even, I remember in one of the first editions, we had students who actually could book even at the students' dormitory at the University of Turin a room as well, which is, a cheap option too. So yeah.
Well, thanks.
Okay, so Andrea Albergoni is asking, I got distracted for a moment. Can the scholarship cover all the cost? What are the requirements? So Andrea, these are tuition fee scholarships which cover the cost of studying. So the scholarships do not cover the cost of traveling, accommodation, and other needs. What the tuition fee scholarship covers is the fee to study to enroll in the master program. And about the requirements, we have a list of obviously requirements who is eligible to apply for scholarship for both models in our website, which you can see it now here, ictforsocialgoodmaster.eu. You're welcome. waiting a couple of more minutes just to see if the silence brings other questions or comments. Well, I think then at this stage, if there are no comments, I think those who were here are a bit more clear about the master program. Again, you will find plenty of information in our website, ictforsocialgoodmaster.eu. We are, by the way, launching soon a podcast with various guest speakers on the theme of the master. So stay tuned via our social media channel. And also you can book a call with us via our website. So if you have other questions, would like to chat more, we'd be happy to answer your questions. So you can go to our website and book a call with us, and we can chat more. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to all the speakers, to everybody who joined, and I hope to see you on the program in another occasions. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Avevi visto la